Tom.
And we are Velocities in Music, VIMTV. Today, in 2011, we're going to do the new release entitled Smart Flesh from the band The Low Anthem. We did, as a request with our friend Mouse, the album Oh My God, Charlie Darwin. And while that was fun, and we enjoyed that album, this is a whole different experience. In the same vein, it's still that folk, kind of even folk alt-country, very minimalistic sound that you expect from the Low Anthem, with a lot of storytelling lyrics. But it's even more low-key. It's even more minimalistic, and it's more focused on the songwriting and atmosphere. Now, I enjoyed some of the albumization, some of the mood, and like I said, the atmosphere that they presented here. I did find that it was a little bit more inaccessible than Oh My God, Charlie Darwin. That some of the songs, there weren't as many standout tracks, but the overall album format really did kind of...
Definitely.
Yeah.
The production and the songwriting makes much more of an album experience, whereas Oh My God, Charlie Darwin was like, here's a lot of standout tracks.
Right.
So it's just whether you get, which side of the music listening experience you get into more.
Right, and Oh My God, Charlie Darwin, I mean, there's a better variety too, I think, just because, I mean, I actually thought that there were multiple male singers in Oh My God, Charlie Darwin, just because it's so different. And it's just one, as one of our viewers pointed out to us, which is good to know, and it's much more evident on this one that there is only one. There's two main songs here that kind of go into the louder, more aggressive rock format than in comparison. But overall, there's a lot of just really low-key tunes here. One of my favorite things about this album is right in the middle of Smart Flesh, they put this song called Wire, which is this clarinet instrumental, and it's beautiful. I absolutely dug the crap out of it and listened to that song multiple times, and I love that it's right in the middle of the album. It's a nice segue between the beginning and the end of the album, and it helps the flow. Tom, what'd you feel about this? I mean, I'm interested.
I think you nailed it with the sound, really. I mean, and a couple other things to get kind of in the production aspects. I felt like this was very mid-rangey, which kind of actually works with the whole old school folk sound. I mean, you can almost tell that they meant this to be listened to on vinyl. I mean, that's the idea I get, and that especially makes sense with that, with Wire being right in the middle of the album. And on top of that, this has much more reverb, just reverb all over this place, just woo,
which is a big trend right now we're noticing.
But it's interesting because while that's a trend, it's usually applied to the more rockin' stuff even, and this is like just like folk, bare bones folk, which usually actually is pretty dry. So that makes it very interesting. It adds more atmosphere, more ambiance to it. But really, I mean, these are well-written songs. It took me a while to like, just because it's so slowed down. I mean, Oh My God, Charlie Darwin, that's the only other album I've heard by this band, but that album has a lot more pick-me-up points than this. If you're looking for an uplifting, fast-paced album, you're not going to want to listen to this.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is slow, it's very moving, it's good. But you need to know that.
And it's one of those albums that if you're predisposed to the Low Anthem or other artists in this folk genre, you'll probably like this. This will be a pleasing album for you. It's probably not going to be, just because there's some limits on the accessibility, because it's kind of you have to pay attention, and it's not quite as outwardly catchy. It's probably not going to bring out a ton of new fans, but I just think it's so cool that a folk outfit like this can do so much and be so ambitious about how they're constructing their album, how they're presenting it. And as Tom said, this would be perfect for a vinyl album. That's a good point. One little thing that did bother me is the vocals. At times there's a couple tracks, and this is not broad across the album, just on a couple select tracks, where the vocals just sounded kind of bland. They more part and parcel for the style, and they used them on a couple different tracks. And I felt like that kind of took away from the variety, and it kind of goes into the whole lack of catchiness and accessibility thing. I kind of maybe would have liked a little bit more, just to bring me to it, to make this album stick out more in my mind. But overall, I found that this was a really fun, moody, atmospheric experience that I thought was of really good quality. Didn't blow me away, but still loving it. You feel about the same?
Yep.
I mean, I feel like we're pretty much on the same page on this one. I'm thinking 74.
I'm going to go 78. I liked it a little more. I think this is just more my kind of thing. But
But what did you guys think? Tell us, go to www.velocitiesmusic.com and send us an email or leave us a comment. Or youtube.com/velocitiesmusic and leave us a comment. Tell us what you think about the Low Anthem. How do you think this album compares to their other albums? Now, when we score this, it has in no relation to, oh my god, Charlie Darwin, just because we're trying to compare this to all music right now so that you get a good indication of what is the best albums that are coming out right now. But if you guys like this and have some recommendations or want to talk about it, please leave us a comment, because that's what we're all about. We're all about talking about music. I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, Velocities of Music. Thanks for watching, everybody. We are moving music critique forward.